What's going on, everybody? My name's Chris. Welcome back to Bourbon Sane. Today we've got a review of a couple products from a distillery I've actually never even had before, Buzzard's Roost. Now, very fortunate to be able to try these. We have two different expressions coming out of Buzzard's Roost. They're located in Louisville, Kentucky, and they actually have a tasting room right on the Whiskey Road there in Louisville. So the two expressions we're going to be trying today are the Buzzard's Roost Signature Double Oak, coming in at 100 proof. And the second one is the straight bourbon whiskey that's finished in French oak staves. Now, I recently reviewed a Blue Note, the Blue Note French oak, and that was actually really, really good. I personally enjoy the French oak finishes, so I'm pretty excited to try this one, and honestly, I'd like to see how it compares to that Blue Note. This is also 100 proof whiskey, and mash bill on these are both the same. So 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley. The double oak just says it was sourced from Indiana distilleries, so maybe multiple. And then the French oak finish was sourced from MGP. So the French oak, it doesn't say the time frame either it was finished in, so we don't know how long that was. It probably just goes by taste, you know, so of course that's the way it goes. So let's get right into this. I already have them poured. We'll start with the double oak here, see what we think. Nice color here. It's almost like a honey looking color. Not super dark, but pretty viscous, actually. The French oak, in my light's actually a little bit lighter. So interesting. But yeah, let's go into the nose on the double oak here. Yeah, to me this has a very, I guess I'll say MGP forward nose. It doesn't necessarily say MGP is the distillery. It just says Indiana. But lots of caramel, lots of vanilla. That candied sweetness definitely comes through. The MGP, that flavor profile is kind of hard to describe. It's definitely a candied sweetness for me. You know, a lot of times on double oaked products, I do get almost like a ethanol, acetone note that comes through. This has got alcohol burn on it, almost more like I'll say like a youthful alcohol burn though, than I get that acetone from a double oak. So pleasant nose though, pleasant nose. Let's go into the taste on this. Cheers. Yeah, the double oak comes through a lot more on that flavor. Yeah, with double oak, I'll get a lot more of that creamy oak note. That's how I describe it, a creamy oak, a sweeter oak. Definitely comes through, but it does taste youthful. This still tastes like it has a youthful tinge to it. This is no age statement, so we don't know for sure. It's got a good flavor profile, though. Mouth feels good. It's about a medium finish on it, but I am getting a lot of that double oak coming through to me. You know, I'm actually getting a good amount of rye spice on the tongue, too. So that's a good thing. I mean, it is 21% rye, so that makes sense. But at 100 proof, typically, and being double oaked, it'll typically drink a little bit smoother to me. So that's good. I like that bite on my whiskey. You know, I want that. So let's move over to the French oak, see what we think about that. As mentioned, this is a little bit lighter in color, which French oak finish, I mean, the double oak's also, you know, a secondary barrel, but I thought French oak would be maybe a little darker, but we'll see what we think about it here. Oh yeah, that's definitely that French oak. A lot more alcohol burn coming out of the double oak here. The French oak smells just more rounded off, you know. For sure. Candied nuts almost on this comes through to me, like a candied pecan or candied, I don't know, some other nut maybe.
These nuts. Got him.
That's good though. Also candied, you know, like that MGP candiness, but almost like a maybe toasted marshmallow or something. Smells good. Let's give this one a taste. Yeah, that's good. You know, French oak I think just works for my flavor profile a lot. I like French oak finishes. This, it definitely is, I think, deeper and a little bit more complex than the double oaked is. It still tastes kind of youthful though, it really does. This one also no age statement, so not sure on it. It's good. It is good. I do get a little bit of that graininess, that corn graininess. But the French oak does help kind of round things off and kind of make it more full. Mouth feels great. I still get that rye bite, not as much as the double oak. So if you like that, like a double oak finish or any kind of stave finishing or French oak finish, but you want the rye bite, you want a little more kick on the palate, I would go with the double oak myself. Between the two, for my palate, I probably prefer the French oak, but you can't go wrong with either one. The French oak is quite a bit more expensive. So we're looking at about $85 for a $750 for that. And that is pricey. That is pricey. The Blue Note, as mentioned earlier, Blue Note French oak is same proof, and I want to say that's maybe about $65. So, a little bit cheaper than this. But if you're into French oak finishes, or just wood finishes in general, either one's a good option, but French oak is delicious. The double oak is $45 for a fifth, so much more affordable. And at that price, it's hard to go wrong with that. It's hard to go wrong with that. Personally, I would appreciate it if they had a little bit more, transparency, if you will, about specifics on age, how long they finished for, just because I like that kind of info. You don't have to do that, and a lot of times there's contracts where you can't even disclose that stuff with whoever you're working with, MGP most likely for them. So I understand the backside of it, I get that, but just as a whiskey nerd, I like to know that stuff, and it interests me. So, but these are good options. Let me know if you guys have ever had Buzzard's Roost before. Like I mentioned, I've never had, I don't think, any of their products before. So being able to try these, very grateful, and I'm glad I was able to. I'll have to see if I can even find their regular expressions and compare them. But I am really curious to find more information, more details on age, that kind of stuff. If I can get that, I'll be bringing it to doing a review on my website about it with more details. I just put out a written review of High and Wicked, so it's a blending company at the moment. But I got a chance to speak online to the master blender over there, just online back and forth. But that was actually awesome. He gave me a lot of insight and then a lot of details on things I had no idea they were doing. Yeast strains, specific barrel things, and how they mesh barrels. So that was really interesting to me. And I hope to do that with these other companies that I've been talking to and working with, and getting a little more insight on their product, because there's a lot more that goes into just blending and whiskey, in even blended whiskey, not even distilling your own, but than just putting two barrels together. It is a lot more, a lot more that people don't realize. So, but I love that stuff. I find it interesting. So I would love to write about that, or even get on here and talk about it with you. So once again, let me know if you've had these. Would you pick them up? Would you pass? Do you have an alternative to this? Let me know. So appreciate y'all checking out the review today. Thanks for being here with me. Stay insane.